Okay, everybody. Hello, good morning. No, good afternoon. Good Friday afternoon.
One of these things.
One of these things, well, actually, no. Nobody else has a Friday morning unless you're in Hawaii. Maybe it's still morning. How many hours is it in Hawaii? I think Hawaii is still morning. So if you're listening from Hawaii, good morning. Everybody else, good afternoon, good evening, or good Saturday morning to those of you in Southeast Asia. All right.
Well, happy birthday.
Pardon?
Happy birthday. Happy birthday for whoever it is watching it. It is your birthday.
Yes. Am I missing somebody whose birthday is supposed to be? I'm panicking now. Is it supposed to be somebody's birthday?
Not that I know, honestly.
Okay. Actually, yeah.
It's a conspiracy. We're trying to make you anxious and stuff.
Okay, so just for the record, you guys, it used to be that I had one of the Zent tier privileges was whenever it was your birthday, you would be getting a birthday card from me. Well, that went immediately, within a month or 2 or 3. I was like, I cannot keep up with this birthday nonsense. I struggle to remember birthdays of my close friends and family. So I decided.
And I never got my birthday card. Oh.
Yeah, so hey, I sent you a Christmas card eventually when it was your turn. So I mean there. That's why I said yeah, I'm gonna switch it from birthday cards and little care packages to just Christmas gifts for everybody, or in the case of this year when they went out really late, it was just thank you. And you should have received it by January or February.
I'll definitely be fair on this one because I'm one of those who used Facebook to remember my friends' birthdays, so I can't really.
Boomer, you're still using Facebook.
I haven't used Facebook in years. I'm just saying I used to.
Okay. All right.
Now I just do like you and I forget everybody's birthdays.
Yeah, geriatric crew here. Hi Remy, are you millennial or are you Gen Z?
I'm born in 1999.
Okay, so you're still...
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle, honestly.
Yeah, you could claim to be either one. But as far as I know, we're all here venerated veterans. I believe. So anyway, all that to say is thank you for putting up with your magpie. Sometimes she forgets some stuff, and we're just very patient with each other. And if you're using Facebook, don't worry, it's okay. I hold nothing against it. As long as you go to the Facebook group, A Sense of a Bookworm Facebook group, join it, and then you can just say, I'm just on Facebook to be in the A Sense of a Bookworm Facebook group. And that's it. I mean, then you will push back all of those snarky comments from people such as myself who would call you a boomer for still using Facebook. All right.
And for more boomer takes like this, you can always subscribe, and follow your magpie. We would love to have you join us as a member so you can join us in the Discord and possibly annoy the heck out of Magpie so that she'll get angry and let you join my cult. But just don't do it today because she's got a headache.
Thank you for that little line at the end. Yes, feel free to plague my little bird heart out, I guess. Just leave the shrine alone, okay? Just leave the shrine alone. That's all I ask. You can cause mayhem and mischief anywhere else, as long as you're using the appropriate channels. Love you all. So, thank you for that timely reminder to subscribe to this channel. Support it as you can. But just having you here joining us for these lives is so good of you. And I want to say hello to the people on YouTube who are joining us. slowly but surely we are gathering here to read some Anne of Green Gables. So first off, Teal, you got first comment award. Look at you. And of course, how could we have a Teal comment without a pun or something wonderful? So thank you, Teal. Says, watch out, Prince Edward Island, cause a certain redhead orphan girl has occupied Green Gables, and she's never leaving unless you make her do math. Ew, she'd think, but then she'd act cordial. Raspberry cordial, that is. Cordial. Is it cordial or cordial?
Yeah, cordial, yeah.
Cordial? Neither one, thank you. All right, cordial. Okay. Thank you, Teal, for that. By the way, are we getting a raspberry cordial in this read-along?
No, but on Sunday or Saturday, if you look forward to the anime.
Yes, so thank you for that. It's a little teaser if you haven't read Anne of Green Gables, so look forward to that. It's delightful and shocking.
Yes, my weekends, I definitely look forward to watching Apothecary Diaries, Fire Force, and now Anne of Green Gables.
Yep, it's a good addition to all of your other animes that you're watching. If you are watching action, chill out with a little bit of Anne Shirley. Nothing like good wholesomeness to round out your anime for this season. So yeah, which I'm also watching, and I just picked it up, and I thank Nuanil for steering me in the direction of this one. It's called The Two Perfect Saint. It's about a saint. And it's not isekai, so yay, it's just a straight up fantasy. It's about this girl who's a saint who for some reason is hated by everybody, even though she does her job really well. So just because she doesn't smile or something like that. Anyway, she gets dumped by her fiance and then sold off to another country who needs a saint. They don't have their saint, so they need a saint. So that was how. That's pretty interesting, actually. Anybody watching it? Did I hear an agreed?
I haven't watched it yet, but is it a saint kind of like in the Fushigi Yugi kind of sense, where they're like this figurehead who gathers heroes to defend the kingdom, or what's going on?
Saint, more like. Have you watched? I haven't watched Fushigi Yugi. But it's more like a female saint who's like a figurehead who does like magics to protect the land from the invasion of evil beasts and stuff that lurk about in the woods. So she purifies the land and sets up like barriers and stuff like that. Kind of like in the same vein, it kind of has the same vibe of, anybody saw The Saint's Power is Omnipotent? Kind of like that kind of saint. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So kind of like
sold is the best thing that could have happened to her, honestly.
Yes, it is. I hated that prince. We're talking about not the Saint's Power is Omnipotent, but back to the Saint, Two Perfect Saint. So I'm glad that Hiremi, yes, awesome. Hiremi's watching it, and again a shout out to Nuanel, who probably is not listening because he's Canadian, and Canadians are very, 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 very likely to stay away from Anne of Green Gables stuff, from what I've learned. And that's okay. But I have already told him, like, repeatedly, like, hey, this is a really good thing, and hey, I stayed up till almost 1 o'clock at night, binge watching all of the available episodes. Thank you very much. And then only to wake up the next day with a headache. Great. But that was actually on Wednesday when I woke with that headache. Was it? And then today I woke up with a headache just because I've been working a lot in the computer. But doesn't matter. Who cares about that? Let's get some Anne stuff going. But let me also say hello to the people on the chat. I kind of got distracted, you guys. I also see Hiremi there. Says today will be the introduction of a very special character. That's right. Yay! I am so looking forward to this special character. We have Noodles Dumplings Kimchi says, "Wow! I made it. Welcome, Noodles. Happy to see you." Also, White Rose K says, good luck with reading. I'll catch up during the rewatch after my work. All right, White Rose, happy that you dropped in and said hello. I hope you enjoy our read-along later on when you're more relaxed. And you have time to enjoy the skill of these beautiful readers. Let's see, we have... Teal says, a very merry unbirthday for everyone else. Like that. Fuji Petals floating in the river says, hi everybody, Dragoner has woven our threads tightly. Oh yes, happy to see you here, Fuji Petals floating in the river. Fuji Petals floating in the river also asks, who is going to play Diana? Well, I guess I might as well talk about it since we're almost out of time for random talk at the beginning. All right, so Diana is going to be read today by Teal. Oh yes, Teal. So excited for that. Let's see, continuing on. I love it when you guys say hello to each other. Hello, chat. Oh yeah, says Fuji Petals floating in the river says, you have my deepest sympathies. Good luck with the doilies. I don't know if we're gonna have anything too egregious going on with Diana, but who knows? Maybe next time when Teal reads, she may be Diana again. When we read the cordial one.
Cordial. Not to be mistaken with Totodile.
Don't confuse me. I don't know whether you're serious or you're teasing me. See, this is why, Patrick, sometimes I ignore you, because I don't know if you're just taking advantage that I am not like processing as much as I can, and I don't pick up things quickly, or
I mean, it could be both.
You're so mean. Oh my gosh. Well, anyway. All right, but it's okay. I did it to myself by encouraging gremlin behavior, so oh well. Happy to have you here, whether you're teasing or not. All right, so everybody, let's get started with the read. Today we're reading two chapters. Let me see. Today we're reading chapter 11 and 12. Yes, 11 and 12. And the people that are going to be reading are as follows. Marilla is going to be read by Teal. Anne is going to be read by Hiramy. Mrs. Barry is going to be read by Patrick. Diana is going to be read by Teal, and Matthew's wonderful many lines will be read by Patrick. Good luck, Patrick, with your monologue.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And I have to try to feminize my voice.
Oh yeah, that too. You'll be fine. All right, so let's do this, everybody. Oh, and by the way, thank you to Hiramy and Teal, who are as always doing a stellar job highlighting these chapters so that we can read and enjoy much better. All right, everybody, let's get this started. Let's read chapter 11. Anne's impressions of Sunday school.
Well, how do you like them?
Said Marilla. Anne was standing in the gable room, looking solemnly at 3 new dresses spread out on the bed. One was of snuffy-colored gingham, which Marilla had been tempted to buy from a peddler the preceding summer, because it looked so serviceable. One was a black and white checkered sateen, which she had picked up at a bargain counter in the winter. And one was a stiff print of an ugly blue shade which she had purchased that week at a Carmody store. She had made them up herself, and they were all made alike. Plain skirts, folded tightly to plain waists, with sleeves as plain as waist and skirt, and tight as sleeves could be.
I will imagine that I like them,
said Anne soberly.
I don't want you to imagine it,
said Marilla, offended.
Oh, I can see you don't like the dresses. What is the matter with them? Aren't they neat and clean and new?
Yes.
Then why don't you like them?
They are they're not pretty.
said Anne reluctantly.
Pity. I didn't trouble my head about getting pretty dresses for you. I don't believe in pampering vanity, Anne. I'll tell you that right off. Those dresses are good, sensible, serviceable dresses, without any frills or furbelows about them, and they're all you'll get this summer. The brown gingham and the blue print will do you for Sunday when you begin to go, or for school when you begin to go. The sateen is for church and Sunday school. I'll expect you to keep them neat and clean and not to tear them. I should think you'd be grateful to get most anything after those skimpy, wincey things you've been wearing.
Oh, I am grateful.
Protested Anne.
But I'd be so much gratefuler if you'd make just one of them with puffy sleeves. Puffed sleeves are so fashionable now. It would give me such a thrill, Marilla, just to wear a dress with puffed sleeves.
Well, you'll have to do without your thrill. I hadn't any material to waste on puffed sleeves. I think they're ridiculous-looking things anyhow. I prefer the plain, sensible ones.
But I'd rather look ridiculous when everybody else does than plain and sensible all by myself.
Persisted Anne mournfully.
Trust you for that. Well, hang those dresses carefully up in your closet and then sit down and learn the Sunday school lesson. I got a quarterly from Mr. Bell for you, and you'll go to Sunday school tomorrow.
Said Anne, disappearing downstairs in high dudgeon. Said Marilla, disappearing downstairs in high dudgeon. Anne clasped her hands and looked at the dresses.
I did hope there would be a white one with puffed sleeves.
She whispered disconsolately.
I prayed for one, but I didn't much expect it on that account. I didn't suppose God would have time to bother about a little orphan girl's dress. I knew I just had to depend on Marilla for it. Well, fortunately, I can imagine that one of them is of snow white muslin, with lovely lace frills and three puffed sleeves.
The next morning, warnings of a sick headache prevented Marilla from going to Sunday school with Anne.
You'll have to go down and call for Mrs. Lynde, Anne. She'll see that you get to the right class. Now, mind you behave yourself properly. Stay to preaching afterwards and ask Mrs. Lynde to show you our pew. Here's a cent for collection. Don't stare at people and don't fidget. I shall expect you to tell me the text when you come home.
Anne started off irreproachable, arrayed in the stiff black and white sateen which, while decent as regards length and certainly not open to the charge of skimpiness, contrived to emphasize every corner and angle of her thin figure. Her hat was a little, flat, glossy new sailor, the extreme plainness of which had likewise much disappointed Anne, who had permitted herself secret visions of ribbon and flowers. The latter, however, were supplied before Anne reached the main road, for being confronted halfway down the lane with a golden frenzy of wind-stirred buttercups and a glory of wild roses, Anne promptly and liberally garlanded her hat with a heavy wreath of them. Whatever other people might have thought of the result, it satisfied Anne, and she tripped gaily down the road, holding her ruddy head with its decoration of pink and yellow very proudly. When she had reached Mrs. Lynde's house, she found that lady gone. Nothing daunted, Anne proceeded onward to the church alone. In the porch she found a crowd of little girls, all more or less gaily attired in whites and blues and pinks, and all staring with curious eyes at this stranger in their midst with her extraordinary head adornment. Avonlea little girls had already heard queer stories about Anne and Mrs. Lynde. Avonlea little girls had already heard queer stories about Anne. Mrs. Lynde said she had an awful temper. Jerry Booth, the hired boy at Green Gables, said she talked all the time to herself or to the trees and flowers like a crazy girl. They looked at her and whispered to each other behind their quarterlies. Nobody made any friendly advances then or later on, when the opening exercises were over, and Anne found herself in Miss Rogerson's class. Miss Rogerson was a middle-aged lady who had taught a Sunday school class for 20 years. Her method of teaching was to ask the printed questions from the quarterly and look sternly over its edge at the particular little girl she thought ought to answer the question. She looked very often, and Anne, thanks to Marilla's drilling, answered promptly. But it may be questioned if she understood very much about either question or answer. She did not think she liked Mrs. Rogerson, and she felt very miserable. Every other little girl in the class had puffed sleeves. Anne felt that life was really not worth living without puffed sleeves.
Well, how did you like Sunday school?
Marilla wanted to know when Anne came home. Her wreath having faded, Anne had discarded it in the lane, so Marilla was spared the knowledge of that for a time.
I didn't like it a bit. It was horrid.
Shirley,
Said Marilla rebukingly. Anne sat down on the rocker with a long sigh, kissed one of Bonny's sleeves, and waved her hand to a blossoming fuchsia.
They might have been lonesome while I was away.
She explained.
And now about the Sunday school? I behaved well, just as you told me. Mrs. Linder was gone, but I went right on on myself. I went into the church with a lot of other girls, and I sat in the corner of a pew by the window while the opening exercise went on. Mr. Bell made an awful long prayer. I would have been dreadful tired before he got through if I hadn't been sitting by that window, but it looked right out on the lake of the shining waters, so I just gazed at that and imagined all sorts of splendid things.
you shouldn't have done anything of the sort. You should have listened to Mr. Bell.
But he wasn't talking to me.
Protested
He was
Anne.
talking to God. Sorry, and he was talking to God, and he didn't seem to be very much interested in it either. I think he thought God was too far off, though. There was a long row of white birches hanging over the lake, and the sunshine fell down through them, way down deep in the water. Oh, Marilla, it was like a beautiful dream. It gave me a thrill, and I just said, "Thank you for it, God," 2 or 3 times.
Not out loud, I hope.
Said Marilla anxiously.
Oh, no, just under my breath. Well, Mr. Bell did get through at last, and they told me to go into the classroom with Miss Rogerson's class. There were 9 other girls on it. They all had puffed lips. I tried to imagine mine were puffed too, but I couldn't. Why couldn't I? It was as easy as it could be to imagine they were puffed when I was alone in the east gable, but it was awfully hard there among the others who had really truly puffed.
You shouldn't have been thinking about your sleeves in Sunday school. You should have been attending to the lesson. I hope you knew it.
Oh, yes, and I answered a lot of questions. Miss Rogerson asked even ever so many. I didn't think it was fair for her to do all the asking. There were lots I wanted to ask her, but I didn't like to because I didn't think she was a kindred spirit. Then all the other little girls recited a paraphrase. She asked me if I knew any. I told her I didn't, but I could recite "The Dog and His Master's Grave" if she liked. That's in the Third Royal Reader, and it's a really truly religious piece of poetry, but it's so sad and melancholic that it might as well be. She said it wouldn't do, and she told me to learn the 19th paraphrase for the next Sunday. I read it over in the church afterwards, and it's splendid. There are 2 lines in particular that just thrill me. Quick as the slaughtered squadrons fell in a Midian's evil day. I don't know what squadrons mean nor median either, but it sounds so tragical. I can hardly wait until next Sunday to recite it. I will practice all week. After Sunday school, I will ask Miss Rogerson because Miss Lindis was too far away to show me your pill. I sat just as still as I could, and the text was Revelations, third chapter, second and third verses. It was a very long text. If I was a minister, I'd pick the short, snappy ones. The sermon was awfully long, too. I suppose the minister had to match it to the text. I didn't think it was a bit interesting. The trouble with him seems to be that he hasn't enough imagination. I didn't listen to him very much. I just let my thoughts run, and I thought of the most surprising things.
Marilla felt helplessly that all this should be sternly reproved, but she was hampered by the undeniable fact that some of the things Anne had said, especially about the minister's sermons and Mr. Bell's prayers, were what she herself had really thought deep down in her heart for years, but had never given expression to. It almost seemed to her that those secret, unuttered, critical thoughts had suddenly taken visible and accusing shape and form in the person of this outspoken morsel of neglected humanity. Neglected humanity, great. Also, you guys, when she's like, "Can you recite something?" I don't know what recitations or whatever it was, but she said like, "I don't know any, but I can recite to you the dog at the master's grave." I don't know. That was hilarious. Because I don't know if it's supposed to be like biblical or whatever, like religious poetry, but she's like reciting about a dog. All right, so we got that part. So far, Marilla hasn't lost her, temper about the flowers, so that's a little bit of a change from the anime. In the anime, the moment she got back, Marilla already knew about it.
In the anime, Miss Rachel was at church, and this time she wasn't.
Yeah, so in this one here, so Anne was supposed to go from Green Gables to Miss Lind's house, and then Miss Lind would take her to church. But I think she spent way too much time doing her garland of flowers for her hair. So by the time she got to Miss Lind's house, Miss Lind had gone already. Mrs. Rachel Lind had already gone already. So, we'll see. But Marilla is going to know about the garland and the stuff. So we're gonna see. But anyway, for now, this is Anne's impressions so far. Does Anne like church?
Doesn't seem like she does.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, well, we'll see.
I mean, she does what a lot of kids her age do, where she's looking out the window, she's paying attention to everything but the sermon. She picks up surprisingly a lot because she's able to quote the verse and all that. But it's something that's not easy for kids her age.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that at that age she's not. Well, I don't know. How old are you? Like, because at that age, let's say 10, 11, I think I would probably just like get a doodle. That's how my parents got me to sit still. I would have like a notebook, and they would have me like draw on it, like just sit quietly. But like before that, like any kid would be like moving and wiggling around. We don't know how long the sermon was and how long she had to sit there, but I'm imagining it was quite a while.
I'm kind of wondering if she's one of those ADD kids.
Oh yeah. That would
But
be.
Even Marilla, like, privately admitted to herself, like, he is not the greatest preacher. He's long-winded and boring.
That's why Marilla is having a hard time to like bring herself to chastise Anne. And I respect this of Marilla because she could so easily be like, you bad child, blah blah blah, but she's like, no, she's not a hypocrite that she will like chastise Anne for something she herself thinks. It's just that Anne actually says what she thinks. So in a way, Marilla and Anne are more kindred spirits than we initially thought. Like they do think almost the same things and stuff. Too bad though that Marilla doesn't quite understand the appeal and the need for puffed sleeves. That is one sore trial for Anne.
I like how she's very practical. She doesn't really care too much about fashion, and she's just like, why do you need all that? It doesn't really do anything for you. It just, it's useless.
Yeah, she's like, it's just vanity. And I like the line where Anne is like saying like, she's like, everybody looks silly, those are silly things, and Anne is like, I'd rather look silly with everybody else than plain and sensible all by myself. I mean, honestly, yeah, at that age, like, you just want to be like the other kids. I can't even remember, like, I can't even count the number of times growing up that I was like, but I want to do like the other kids, and my mom was like, no, that's so stupid, or like, why? That looks so bad, or whatever. I think everybody.
You're not the other kids.
Or like, if the other kids suddenly decide to jump off a cliff, are you going to do the same? I probably
Yes.
like, yes. Right. All right. So let's continue on with the next chapter. Looks like Fuji petals floating in the river bid adieu to us. I hope you enjoy the read if you rewatch the recording. See you in the next time. All right, let's do this. Chapter 12. A solemn vow and a promise. Ooh, sounds cool and interesting. Let's do this. It was not until the next Friday that Marilla heard the story of the flower-wreathed hat. She came home from Mrs. Lynde's and called Anne to account.
Anne, Mrs. Rachel said you went to church last Sunday with your hat rigged out ridiculous, with roses and buttercups. What on earth put you up to such a caper? A pretty-looking object you must have been.
Oh, I know pink and yellow aren't becoming to me.
Began Anne.
Becoming fiddlesticks! It was putting flowers on your hat at all, no matter what color they were, that was ridiculous. You are the most aggravating child.
I don't see it's any more ridiculous. I don't see why it's any more ridiculous to wear flowers on your hat than on your dress.
Protested Anne.
Lots of little girls there had bouquets pinned into their dresses. What's the difference?
Marilla was not to be drawn from the safe concrete into dubious paths of the abstract.
Don't answer me back like that, Anne. It was very silly of you to do such a thing. Never let me catch you at such a trick again. Mrs. Rachel said she thought she would sink through the floor when she saw you come in all rigged out like that. She couldn't get near enough to tell you to take them off till it was too late. She says people talked about it something dreadful. Of course they would think I had no better sense than to let you go out decked like that.
Oh, I'm so sorry,
said Anne, tears welling into her eyes.
I never thought you'd mind. The roses and buttercups are so sweet and pretty. I thought they'd look lovely on my head. Lots of little girls had artificial flowers on their heads. I'm afraid I'm going to be a dreadful trial to you. Maybe you'd better send me back to the asylum. That would be terrible. I don't think I could endure it. Most likely I would go into consumption. I'm so thin, isn't it, you see? But that would be better than being a trial to you.
Nonsense,
said Marilla, vexed at herself for having made the child cry.
I don't want to send you back to the asylum, I'm sure. All I want is that you should behave like other little girls and not make yourself ridiculous. Don't cry anymore. I've got some news for you. Diana Barry came home this afternoon. I'm going up to see if I can borrow a skirt pattern from Mrs. Barry, and if you like, you can come with me and get acquainted with Diana.
Anne rose to her feet with clasped hands, the tears still glistening on her cheeks. The dish towel she had been hemming slipped unheeded to the floor.
Oh, Marilla, I'm so frightened. Now that it has come to, I'm actually frightened. What if she shouldn't? What if she shouldn't like me? It would be the most tragical disappointment of my life.
Now, don't get into a fluster. And I do wish you wouldn't use such long words. It sounds so funny in a little girl. I guess Diana will like you well enough. It's her mother you've got to reckon with. If she doesn't like you, it won't matter how much Diana does. If she has heard about your outburst to Mrs. Lynde and going to church with buttercups round your hat, I don't know what she'll think of you. You must be polite and well-behaved, and don't make any of your startling speeches. For pity's sake, if the child isn't actually trembling.
Anne was trembling. Her face was pale and tense.
Oh, Marilla, you'd be excited too if you were going to be the little girl you hope to be, your bosom friend, and whose mother mightn't like you.
She said as she hastened to get her hat. They went over to Orchard Slope by the shortcut across the brook and up the furry hill grove. Mrs. Barry came to the kitchen door in answer to Marilla's knock. She was a tall, black-eyed, black-haired woman with a very resolute mouth. She had the reputation of being very strict with her children.
How do you do, Marilla?
She said cordially.
Come in. And this is the little girl you have adopted, I suppose.
Yes, this is Anne Shirley,
Said Marilla.
Spelled with an E.
Gasped Anne, who, tremulous and excited as she was determined there should be no misunderstanding on that important point. Mrs. Barry, not hearing or not comprehending, merely shook hands and said kindly,
How are you?
I am well in body, although considerations are wrapped up in spirit. Thank you, ma'am.
said Anne gravely, then aside to Marilla in an audible whisper.
There wasn't anything startling that, was there, Marilla?
Diana was sitting on the sofa, reading a book which she dropped when the callers entered. She was a very pretty little girl, with her mother's black eyes and hair and rosy cheeks, and the merry expression which was her inheritance from her father.
This is my little girl, Diana.
Said Mrs. Barry.
Diana, you might take Anne out into the garden and show her your flowers. It would be better for you than straining your eyes over that book. She reads entirely too much.
This to Marilla as the little girls went out.
And I can't prevent her, for her father aids and abets her. She's always poring over a book. I'm glad she has the prospect of a playmate. Perhaps it will take her more out of doors.
Outside in the garden, which was full of mellow sunset light streaming through the dark old firs to the west of it, stood Anne and Diana, gazing bashfully at each other over a clump of gorgeous tiger lilies. The Barry garden was a bowery wilderness of flowers, which would have delighted Anne's heart at any time less fraught with destiny. It was encircled by huge old willows and tall firs, beneath which flourished flowers that loved the shade. Prim, right-angled paths, neatly bordered with clamshells, intersected it like moist red ribbons, and in the beds between old-fashioned flowers ran riot. There were rosy bleeding hearts and great splendid crimson peonies, white, fragrant narcissi, and thorny sweet Scotch roses. Pink and blue and white columbines and lilac-tinted bouncing beds, clumps of southernwood and ribbon grass and mint, purple anemone, daffodils, and masses of sweet clover, white with its delicate, fragrant, feathery sprays. Scarlet lighting that shot its fiery lances over prim white musk flowers. A garden it was, a garden it was, where sunshine lingered and bees hummed, and winds, beguiled into loitering, purred and rustled.
Oh, Diana.
Said Anne at last, clasping her hands and speaking almost in a whisper.
Oh, do you think you can like me a little? Enough to be my bosom friend?
Diana laughed. Diana always laughed before she spoke.
I guess so.
She said frankly.
I'm awfully glad you've come to live at Green Gables. It will be jolly to have someone to play with. There isn't any other girl who lives near enough to play with, and I've no sisters big enough.
Will you swear to be my friend forever and ever?
Demanded Anne eagerly. Diana looked shocked.
It's dreadfully wicked to swear,
She said rebukingly.
Oh, no, not that kind of swearing. There are two kinds, you know.
I never heard but of one kind.
Diana said doubtfully.
There really is another. Oh, it isn't wicked at all. It just means vowing and promising solemnly.
Well, I don't mind doing that.
Agreed Diana, relieved.
How do you do it?
We must join hands. So,
Said Anne gravely.
it ought to be over running water. We'll just imagine this path is running water. I'll repeat the oath first. I solemnly swear to be faithful to my bosom friend, Diana Barry, as long as the sun and the moon shall endure. Now you say it and put my name in it.
Diana repeated the oath with a laugh fore and aft. Then she said,
You're a queer girl, Anne. I heard before that you were queer, but I believe I'm going to like you real well.
When Marilla and Anne went home, Diana went with them as far as the log bridge. The two little girls walked with their arms about each other. At the brook, they parted with many promises to spend the next afternoon together.
Well, did you find Diana a kindred spirit?
Asked Marilla as they went up through the garden of Green Gables.
Oh, yes!
Sighed Anne, blissfully unconscious of any sarcasm on Marilla's part.
Oh, Marilla, I'm the happiest girls of Prince Edward Island at this very moment. I assure you I'll say my prayers with a right good will tonight. Diana and I are going to build a playhouse in Mr. Williams Bell's birch grove tomorrow. Can I have those broken pieces of china that are out of in the woodshed? Diana's birthday is in the February and mine is in March. Don't you think that's a very strange coincidence? Diana's going to lend me a book to read. She said it's perfect, splendid, and tremendously exciting. She's going to show me a place back in the woods where rice lily grows. Don't you think Diana has got a very soulful eyes? I wish I had soulful eyes. Diana's going to teach me to sing a song called Nellie in the Hazel Dell. She's going to give me a picture and put up in my room. It's a perfect, beautiful picture, she says. A lovely lady in a pale blue silk dress. A sewing machine agent gave it to her. I wish I had something to give Diana. I am an inch taller than Diana, but she's ever so much fatter. She says she'd like to be thin because it's much more graceful, but I'm afraid she's only said to suit my feelings. We're going to the shore some days and gather shells. We have agreed to call the spring down by the log bridge on the dried bubbles. Isn't that a perfect elegant name? I read a story once about a spring called that. A dryad is it's sort of a grown-up fairy, I think.
Well, all I hope is you won't talk Diana to death.
said
But
Marilla.
remember, this is in all your this. Remember this in all your planning, Anne. You're not going to play all the time, nor most of it. You'll have your work to do, and it'll have to be done first.
Anne's cup of happiness was full, and Matthew caused it to overflow. He had just come home from a trip to the store at Carmody, and he sheepishly produced a small parcel from his pocket and handed it to Anne with a deprecatory look at Marilla.
I heard you say you liked chocolate sweets, so I got you some.
He said. Sniffed Marilla.
It'll ruin her teeth and stomach. There, child, don't look so dismal. You can eat those since Matthew has gone and got them. He'd better have brought you peppermints. They're wholesomer. Don't sicken yourself eating them all at once now.
Oh no, indeed I won't.
Said Anne eagerly.
I will just eat one tonight, Marilla, and I can give Diana half of them, can't I? The other half will taste twice as sweet to me if I give her some to her. It's delightful to think that I have something to give her.
I will say it for the child,
said Marilla when Anne had gone to her gable.
She isn't stingy. I'm glad, for of all faults, I detest stinginess in a child. Dear me, it's only 3 weeks since she came, and it seems as if she's been here always. I can't imagine the place without her. Now don't be looking, I told you so, Matthew. That's bad enough in a woman, but it isn't to be endured in a man. I'm perfectly willing to own up that I'm glad I consented to keep the child, and that I'm getting fond of her. But don't you rub it in, Matthew Cuthbert.
End of chapter.
I absolutely loved that part of the anime because Matthew has that look on his face like, I know, I told you.
And he doesn't say anything, he's just like, Aw. Matthew doesn't have a lot of lines, but he does have a great impact on on Anne's life. And I love that about him because Marilla she's a good woman, she has good heart, but I think Anne needs a little bit of like love and spoiling because she's gone through a lot in her life. So Marilla is not going to willingly give that to her, but Matthew is. He's just going to instinctively, as much as Marilla lets him, give Anne all the spoiling that he can. So
I really enjoy it when an author can give so much character to such a soft-spoken character.
Yeah, and in this case, Matthew said absolutely nothing. It's just we just get Marilla's reaction to his looks. Okay, so we got the meeting with Anne and Diana. Anything about this scene or this chapter struck you?
It's just really cute how Diana's like, no, I can't swear.
I wish they had included that in the book, but and in the anime. But I wonder if it wouldn't have translated well, because swearing is two things in English, right? Swearing is like saying bad words. Also, swearing is also like making like oaths and stuff. So I don't think it would have translated very well in Japanese. So I wonder what the Japanese book says in here, in this part.
They had a similar part in the anime, but since I'm not as fluent in Japanese as I'd like to be, I didn't quite catch it.
Well, but they didn't have Diana being like hesitant, like, no, it's bad to swear.
Right.
That's what I was wondering, like in the original Japanese book translation, like if they have that and what did they use instead to like, I don't know.
Maybe I need to rewatch that episode because I could have sworn that she was kind of hesitant. I'm like, no, I can't swear. Swearing is bad.
I did mention it during a read along. So.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Or, I mean, watch.
Yeah, the watch
yes.
party. You said it like they skipped
Maybe
that part. Yeah.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, they skipped that part and Teal pointed it out when we were doing the watch party last Sunday. Speaking of which, though, they do have in the live action, they do have that part, and I want to watch that with you guys. So the live action part.
You want to do it?
Yeah. Yeah, the live action part is split into 2 parts. I think it's 1 hour each, I think. So we can watch it on Sunday if you guys are down for it.
I'm okay with this.
Because it will have covered up to what Saturday's episode will do. So you guys, if you are down to watch with us, I can, you know what? Why not? I'll do a temporary invite. So you guys can join in, even though you're not members, but I can allow it. I shall allow it. So be on the lookout for the community events and posts. I will post it there, and maybe here on a pin. So so on Sunday, so 2 days from now, after we do, we should probably just do it like do the watch party of the anime. And the same time right after that, not a different event. Yeah, we'll do that. So you can join us for the anime watch party, and then we will go straight into the live action adaptations. Yeah, Patrick?
If you guys want to get notifications about her making that post, make sure you have the bell icon tapped.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not gonna announce it on Twitter or anything like that. Just because I like having people, but I'd rather it just be like people that actually care about Anne of Green Gables. You know what I mean? Rather than, what are you guys doing here? Like, what's this about? I'm like, get out of here. So, all right. So yeah, we did 2 chapters. These chapters, they just fly. Like, you can read them so easily. I love it. You can read them so... It's a nice, relaxing read, but it's really amusing. Like, I noticed that after I'm done doing these read-alongs, like, my cheeks hurt. Because I can't help but smile all the way through them. I don't know if that's the same with you guys, but I find myself smiling all the way through when I read Anne of Green Gables.
I think even with my teasing, she's smiling a little too much. Which is probably good for the headache.
Don't remind me of the headache. I'm trying to push it to the back of my head. I feel like Marilla, though. Like, because Marilla also was like, yo, I can't go to church. I felt so bad for Marilla. I'm like, Marilla, I know exactly what you mean. Like, you wake up, like, you don't even have to, like, fully open your eyes, and you know it's going to be a day when your whole day is going to be spent, like, in misery. So, yeah, I really do sympathize, and I do feel like little by little I am closer to identifying with Marilla. And I've said this before, like, I guess it's because of age or whatever, but I identify a lot with Marilla now.
I think I know that feeling too, because there are some mornings when I wake up and it feels like my head is bigger than it usually is, and I'm just like, I know that's going to be a headache.
Yep. And it, you know, like, one of the things I was talking to my mom, she was like, your grandma, like her mom, also used to have headaches. So it's hereditary too. So it's not just that I work staring at computer screens for a long time, for hours and hours, but it's also my mom has it, my grandma had it, so I have it. So I'm like, dang it, why did you have to pass this on, mother?
I was definitely gonna say the screens probably don't help.
Yeah, I know. And I have like the glasses that have the reflect the blue light too. Too
Are
bad.
they yellow?
Yeah, like when you put it, they have like a little cast, like a little yellow cast. Yeah. But it can't do all the yellow. My dad has like the ones that are like super yellow, which I'm sure would help a lot more. But with what I work, I have to have really good perception of colors. So yeah. All right. Anything else about this chapter that you enjoyed or you liked?
I enjoyed how Anne is just, super nervous about meeting someone new, even though she really, really wants to meet someone new. And she's like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to embarrass myself. She's so anxious, and she's just like, oh, I don't know. But when she meets her, she's like, new friend, yay!
Right. And you know what? I also have to say that I forgot for years and years that Diana was a bookworm. So when I think it was Red Tempest did a meme with Diana and Anne. She put mine as Anne and Hannelore as Diana, right? But now that I think of it, I'm like, it should have been the other way around. Diana is a bookworm. Diana is a bookworm, and but it's good for her to go.
Anne's
to go
the
on.
one who is so longing for a friend.
Right? Yeah, and I think Anne is the one that Dragoner would play her most tricks on, I think. Yeah, so yeah. I always enjoy stories where you have friendship and wholesomeness. I don't know. I really like these besties.
I like the detail of Mrs. Barry saying, no, her eyesight will go bad because she can't stop reading. Why won't she touch some grass? And it shows how different the times were. Because nowadays I hear more like, oh, why won't a kid read more?
Mm-hmm.
I feel a little called out here.
We didn't say anything. You just called yourself out. You could have just stored it in your heart.
Oh no! It's so. My mom would always be like, "You can't be reading in the dark. You're going to kill your eyesight." I'm like, "No, you're crazy, Mom. I can read. I don't need to strain my eyes at all. It's perfectly clear to me." And now I have glasses.
Oh yeah. I believe that. Pardon me, do you wear glasses?
I do, and I read in the dark as well.
Oh no! All right, it is confirmed, everybody. Every single person on this call wears glasses, and I wonder what is the common denominator, because I also would sneak books under my, like, it was time to go to sleep, and I was like, no, I need to finish this. So I would like get a little flash lamp, because this was before, Los Años del Caldo, or before there was LED little lights or whatever. No, I would get under my covers and just read and read and read, and then I don't know, for some reason my glasses would fog up. And then I would have to like get out of, like, breathe some fresh air, because after like an hour or so I was like, I need air. But yeah, I would do that too. I would sneak some reading material to bed. Or sometimes, and this is gonna sound bad, but back in the day, like, as a child, my parents sometimes like did things, and then they would say like, just wait for me in the car, I'll be back. So I was like, okay, fine. And so I was like, I'm fine, I have a book, whatnot. And I would read, and then the sun would begin to set, and I was still in the car. And this is like church parking lot or whatever, like somewhere safe. It wasn't like in a bad place, though. Sometimes it was. But anyway, So I would be like reading and straining my eyes until like they finally got back and they were like, "Oh, let's go home now." And they're like, "What were you doing all this time?" I was like, "Well," and then they would be like, "You're not supposed to read in the dark." And it never occurred to me like you're not supposed to leave your child alone in the car waiting, right? So anyway, that's just one of the things. We have all ruined our eyesight to reading. We have all placed our beautiful 2020 vision on the altar of the book goddess.
And I would do it again in a second.
You know what? Yeah, I would. Those were some good old times. All right, everybody. It is now 2:01. I do believe we should wrap up next time when we gather. Well, I hope you guys join us for Sunday watch. We will be watching again Anne of Green Gables. No, sorry. Anne Shirley episode 4 at noonish, 12:30 Pacific. And then right after that, we will watch Anne of Green Gables, the live action. It'll be just part 1 because I only have part 1, you guys. I would have to buy the other one, and I would, but it would be spoilers, so I won't. We won't watch it until we finish.
Remember, folks, that's going to be on the Discord, not on the YouTube channel.
Yes,
because YouTube will shut us down real fast.
Yes. So, but you will find the link to the invite to the event on Discord. On the, I'll pin the message. I'll pin it so you guys can find it, and I'll also put it on an announcement on my YouTube channel community post. Yes. Okay. All right, everybody. It is time for us to head off into the weekend. Oh, yes. I hope you guys have a lot of fun. Join us on Sunday if you're able to, or if not, we'll see you on Wednesday where we pick up on the next chapter, which I believe is the anticipation. No, the delights of. Ooh, this is the one where the amethyst brooch, right? I do believe that's the amethyst brooch.
Yes.
So it's gonna be a fun one. If you enjoyed it on the anime, it's gonna be pretty fun also on this one. We won't get to meeting Gilbert Blythe though yet until Friday, but now you know. Amethyst brooch.
Now you know
Yeah.
the rest of the story.
Now we're not even halfway through the story. We're not. So we'll have a lot going on. So join us next week.
Only old people like me would get that reference.
Oh. Okay. Well, you keep calling yourself out, okay? Nobody's saying anything. All right, everybody. Take care. And also, thank you so much to the following people who read. We had Teal reading Marilla and Diana. By the way, Teal, thank you so much for picking up double roles. You did it last time and you were amazing at it. You did it again. Good job. Hirami did Anne. Thank you, Hirami. I know it must not be easy reading those pages and pages full of orange writing, but thank you for that. You did amazing too. Patrick, who did Mrs. Berry. By the way, good job with reading the falsetto Mrs. Berry. With higher pitch
I tried.
voice. You did good. And of course you read Matthew. And again, thank you to Harami and Teal who are doing these highlights. And to you, listeners, we hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, a good week, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you on Wednesday or Sunday. Goodbye, everybody. Say bye-bye, gang.
Bye-bye, gang.
Bye.
Goodbye.